Fun fact about me, I am an arachnophobe. Like really, really badly. And yet I love spiders. They're fascinating, incredible creatures that are so amazing up close between panic attacks, vomiting and blackouts. The best picture I've ever taken in my photography career is this. That's a spider, by the way. I also love the old creature features from the 50s and 60s. Attack of the Crab Monsters, It Came From Beneath the Sea, Citizen Kane.
Rosebud.
I also love the scoring of John Ottman, the best thing to happen to the X-Men movies since the ability to turn the X-Men movies off and put something better on. So as a part of my big Halloween run for episodes in the show, you can be damn sure that I'm going to go back and take a look at a film that I saw when I was much younger and revisit it now. I'm a 60-year-old man, and just explore whether it holds up, where it fails, and what do I think now I'm older and more mature. Let's watch it, shall we? I'm just kidding, I've owned this movie since 2004 and I watch it every year. Fuck you, this movie's awesome and I'm not even ashamed. Hitchcock loved Smokey and the Bandit and I have it on very good authority. I know for a fact that Orson Welles was a massive fan of Dance Dance Revolution, so today we are taking a big old deep dive into what was supposed to be the herald of the re-emergence of the sci-fi horror monster movie that absolutely, completely and totally holds the fuck up. Eight-legged freaks, activate. Eight-legged freaks is a monster movie about giant animal plus small town population equals mayhem. You know the formula. Produced by the Disaster Movie guys after they saw director Ellery Elkayem, sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I probably am, a fantastic short film Larger Than Life. And I'm not kidding, if you love throwbacks to old monster movies with almost unbearable amounts of tension, it's worth buying the DVD of Eight-Legged Freaks just for the copy of Larger Than Life that comes with it. I won't spoil the actual events of the short film because it's really legitimately brilliant, but it's about big spiders attacking people. You probably guessed that one. And so the $30 million giant spider movie with the inexplicably outstanding cast including David Arquette, Kari Burress, Scarlett Johansson, Dougie Doug, Tom Noonan, and Frank fucking Welker, voice of your childhood. Look it up. Frank Welker, voice of the spiders, hits the screen in the early 2000s, and although it made its money back and then some $10 million on top, it wasn't a blockbuster. Certainly not by the expected standards of Devlin and Emmerich, though you'd think they'd be pretty used to blockbusters not paying out quite the way they should. But what is Eight-Legged Freaks really about? I must have some deep, mysterious, shut up, theory about what's really. Would you shut up? Did you grossly misread the text of the film because you could have spoken? Shut the fuck up. Well, first we are going to look at the plot to establish the content of the text before I cannibalize it to make a point as a weak justification for talking about a movie that I love. A truck is barreling down the road as the driver is listening to Harlan on the radio, who's a local conspiracy theorist radio host in the small town of Prosperity, Arizona. The driver is tired and almost throws his vehicle off the road when the sinister rabbit cabal almost claims him for sacrifice. A barrel of toxic hoo-ha falls from the truck and Kobe's into the creek. Tom Noonan appears and collects some grasshoppers from the very same creek. A week later, Mike is cycling to Taft's exotic spider farm where Joshua, the previously established Noonan,
Joshua, are you trying to scare me to death?
introduces Mike to his new spiders, including the jumping spiders and the orb weavers. Mike notes that the spiders are choffing huge.
The Lycosa narbonensis looks different today. It's bigger.
It's their diet. I've made a discovery. These have been appearing in the pond for the past 3 days. Spider steroids.
It's clear that it's not just the size these spiders are developing. Yes, they are getting super chunky very quickly, but they also seem to have inherited a terrifying level of intelligence. A pink-toed tarantula gets out and bites Joshua after Mike leaves, prompting the uprising. Those spiders were fucking waiting. On the way back, Mike runs into Deputy Pete and Sheriff Sam, who is also his mum. Not him, her. They found the toxic slime barrel and Mike realizes where Josh's spider growth is coming from. He goes to head back, but he is instead grounded. We are also introduced to Mike's sister Ashley, who is dating the turn-of-the-century teenager. You know the one. Dirt bike, absentee parental figure, surprisingly whiny for someone built like a brick shithouse.
Brett, isn't your stepfather the mayor?
Next time you put my daughter's life in danger, I'll show you exactly how little that means to me.
We're cool, Sheriff.
Meanwhile, Chris turns up back in town after having been away for 10 years. He pops in to see his Aunt Gladys at the mine that forms the central economy of the town, and is also 3 months from selling.
Yes?
Chris? Aunt Gladys.
At a town meeting, Mayor Wade is trying to get the whole town to sell their properties to Viromanol Corp, who want access to the mines. Some people are not willing to sell up though, and the company wants the entire town or none of it, and it's causing some stress.
I'm not selling the mine.
The biggest resistor is Chris, who believes that his late father's account of finding the Aqua Mesa lode was true, a chunky vein of gold in the mines that no one else has managed to spot. Some first act conflict happens.
Back off, Wade.
Your father was delusional.
You better shut the hell up about my father, I'm warning you.
I'm talking to you.
What the hell are you doing, huh?
March your butt down right now to Sam Parker's and tell her everything. Tell her why you broke her husband's nose. Why you left town without so much as a fare thee well.
Take this.
What is that? Is that a stun gun?
Protection.
What, are you kidding me?
I knew guys just like Brett when I was
Mom,
your
I'm
age.
not you, okay? I'm not gonna get pregnant at 16. I'm not gonna stay here for the rest of my life and be like a trailer trash sheriff, all right?
I didn't deserve that.
Nothing to see here, folks. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
And then Mike heads out to Josh's spider farm where he finds an adventure movie set from the 30s. Judging by the dust, the spiders have also mutated dandruff problems. Mike grabs a spider leg before seeing Consuela, the orb weaver female, in the mines. He gets a ride from Chris, who has been to the mine to get them working on finding the Mesa lode, and to tell Sam his feelings for her and why he broke her cheating husband's nose before he left 10 years ago.
Lose a face fuzz before you do. Makes your mouth look like a stripper's pouch.
Had to censor the word crotch there, huh?
It's disgusting.
Mike tells Chris his findings, and Chris doesn't believe him. It's kind of a theme of the film.
My friend Joshua sells exotic spiders. They've been growing bigger and bigger over the last couple of weeks, and now they've grown so big that they've broken out of their cages and headed down to the mine shafts. Joshua's nowhere to be found, and I think they might have killed him.
Let me see. You know, it does kind of look like an old piece of cactus.
Back in the mines, spider mouth. Wait, how do those spiders get in that pipe? The faucet's there. Did the spiders shut the valve off, detach the hose, climb inside, then reattach it behind them using their web as a complicated pulley system? I'm starting to root for the spiders. In case you were in any doubt over this being a throwback to old monster movies, the grand don of American giant bug movies is playing on the TV in Mike's room as he returns, and then he is caught by Sheriff Mom and grounded. Ugh. Mums. The spiders step up their attack on the town. Pets go missing, trapdoor spiders attack the ostriches in Mayor Wade's farm in a strange misunderstanding of how trapdoor spiders do, but whatever. I love the tone of this film. Look at Pete here, and tell me how you think this scene that he's talking about played out.
Something ate your cat? How's Emma taking it?
Well, she left me. She's gone to stay with her mother.
Pete, I'm so sorry.
I'm fine. Oh, no. I just, I have an intolerance to dairy. I'm just a little bit mucusy right now.
Or were you expecting this?
Oh, honey.
Get your furry cat ass out of there.
cat is using martial arts. The genius of this film is how it handles tone. The effects and the setup of the story threaten to detract from the threat of the spiders, so a lighter tone is constantly leveraged to ramp up the threat without the inevitable breaks in atmosphere or audience buy-in when something silly happens. As a result, this feels like a silly film that gets really dark, rather than a film trying to be dark but not quite reading the room. Anyway, back to the plot. Brett and Ashley are doing a smooch when he starts to get a bit handsy-handsy bad touch.
Well, I thought you loved me.
I do. But
But what?
I just don't want to lose my virginity in the front seat of a truck.
Well, why didn't you say so? I got a blanket in the back.
Brett, no. No, that's not it. I just don't think I'm ready.
Tammy and Larry do it every night.
So fine, call them, okay? Have a menage a trois if you want.
Brett gets all sexual assaulty and as a result gets stun gunned in the nuts and pisses himself.
Brett, back off!
I wish I could say the film more solidly outlines this behaviour as fucking gross, but it's more the early 2000s slap on the wrist as he gets nut-tased and then makes it through the rest of the film and is seemingly forgiven by Ashley and plays a part in saving the town. Depressing, but unsurprising, and although I do love this film, it's important for us to recognise the things that are problematic in the media that we love, because no matter how implicitly it is related to that work's production contest or time period, it's the only way we get better. Ashley bounces, and I'm pretty sure I've seen this recently. Brett runs over to his friends and says it's time to go.
Dude, did you piss your parents?
We gotta go. We gotta get out of here. They're coming.
Looks like the only thing going is you, dude.
Had to sense the word coming, huh? What precedes is the jumping spiders chasing the dirt bikers and getting them one by one. All aside from Brett, who... I'm gonna tell my kids this was the Matrix. Some dope practical pyrotechnics happen. And then the phone lines to the town are dead. Brett escapes into the mines, which connect every single part of the town like a circulatory system. Aunt Gladys's dog, Bruiser, gets nabbed by the spiders, following by Gladys herself. Chris, maybe your mind is failing because you're digging it right next to everyone's fucking basement. Go down, Chris. Dig down. The man responsible for the inevitable seismic collapse of the town into a sinkhole doesn't find Gladys, but he does find a fuck-off giant spider leg similar to the one Mike showed him before. I would kill several people for that spider leg. I'm just putting that out there. Chris runs back to Mike.
Oh, that thing is huge! Give me a second. Was there webbing around?
Yeah, lots of it.
She might have been attacked by a male orb weaver.
Male, female, what's the difference?
Ask your mum, Chris. In the other room, Ashley is attacked by an orb weaver using spider webs and the Force, and after some hijinks...
Scissors! Here you go!
it is beaten. Sam gets Pete to grab all the weapons at the station and come pick them up. My big regret in this film is that we don't see the jumping spider attention dance. Chris, Sam, the kids and Pete all get to Harlan's trailer as the only place that can communicate with the town. Sam implores everyone head to the Prosperity Mall, a colossal boondoggle that Wade built in a town with no money.
Concrete walls, steel doors.
I don't think that's going to help Sam. They're clearly chewing through stone and shit. Chris should hire the spiders to work in the mines. That's brilliant. They clearly don't mind the dark or the methane, and they don't even need mining tools. Oh, can we just... Okay, so there are some shots that are ingrained in my mind. As a filmmaker and a writer, they're always just hanging there, these foundational cornerstones in my attitude to visual storytelling. One was actually featured as the thumbnail for the Darkness Falls video. This is one of them. Consider, if you will, that this is a $13 million movie made at the end of the 90s and the turn of the century. Look at the lighting, shining through the hairs on its legs. This shot and the shot of the orb weaver with its reflection shifting perspective on the windows, these are some of the coolest shots of millennial horror. The trencher attacks. It said raw. The town dismisses this all as Harlan's crazy usual antics, but we don't have time to dally because we have a third act to get going. The town is immediately attacked by the swarm of spiders. I'm going to tell my kids this was Saruman.
Oh, rack attack.
Fun fact, this was originally the name of the film, Iraq Attack, but then something happened at the early part of the 2000s that made the words Iraq Attack sound not like a great name for a fun horror film. I'm actually pretty sure that 9/11 played a significant part in this film's lacking box office reaction.
I don't want to blame it all on 9/11, but it certainly didn't help.
We're going to loop on back, we're going to talk about that another time. The town retreats into the mall where they hole up. Look at this fucking guy, he's having the time of his life! In the mall, Chris makes sure that everyone listens to the kid. Chris and Harlan head onto the roof to call for backup on the town's only cell phone. It was the early 2000s. While the kids head to the storeroom and everyone else arms up. Wade has already gone through the storeroom though, and he's locked the door behind it. A fight ensues, and the phone call fails, and Chris almost loses his cool. Harlan runs as a distraction, and Chris George of the Jungles it back into the mall. Can we not have a spin-off with just this spider? The town falls back into the storeroom where they are now trapped. Meanwhile, Brett runs into Wade, and then Wade gets grabbed. The town prepares to face off against what is probably going to be their doom as the spiders round on them, when Brett comes in and saves the day. Ah, that's actually a continuity goof there. That was a dirt bike in the last shot. I'm going to tell my kids this was Roger Ebert. They flee through the mines, but on the way Chris realizes that Gladys could still be alive.
Is there a chance that Gladys is still alive?
It's possible. Are you crazy?
Sam, you're gonna have to get out without me. Keep following those wires. There's a wooden shed on the outside with a generator.
He goes back to look for her while the town finds a way to power up the lights and, as a result, ignite the methane that fills the mines. He finds Gladys, the load,
He wasn't crazy.
and then Consuela finds them. They manage to get away, and then some more awesome pyro work as the mines go up, taking the spiders with them. And the wall. At the end, we close on Harlan revealing that the mines reopened with the goal of bringing the town back to prosperity. The end. Spiders is spiders. But spiders is capitalism? Well, first of all, what kind of question is that? And secondly, yes, spiders is spiders and spiders is capitalism. In 8-Legged Freaks, the giant spiders are the proxy manifestations of corporate greed and its impact on disenfranchised small-town America. Now, I'm going to say that again. Not because it's particularly important, but because it's the funniest thing I've been able to say all week. The giant spiders are the proxy manifestations of corporate greed and its impact on disenfranchised small-town America. See, to really dig into this point, we need to understand the context of giant monster movies. In the 50s, growing fears over nuclear weaponry and radiation, not to mention the socially entrenched American guilt at the abject decimation of two massive civilian population centers in Japan, and second, the terror of the possibility of that exact same thing happening on American soil, coupled with the Red Scare and the threat of communism, led to filmmakers making sci-fi horror films that expunged those fears, or at the very least dragged them into the light so that everyone could clearly see them and understand them. Nuclear test makes giant crab monsters. Giant octopus woken up by nuclear test. Scientist interferes with unbreakable scientific boundaries. Scientists use nuclear material to make superfood. And that's not even including the kaiju movies from across the Pacific. And then there's... Moving on from these, you've got The Invasion of the Body Snatchers and The Thing from Another World and other movies that involve people, but they're not people, they're actually communists, I mean aliens. Something natural plus social fear equals movie. But the fear in 8-Legged Freaks isn't toxic material or nuclear weapons or whatever this is the waste material of. We never find out what this is, and its actual effect on the spiders isn't clarified beyond making them big and giving them a really weird sense of humour. What's in these barrels doesn't matter. It could be Mr. Morpugo's magic spider and beginning juice from the fucking Wizard Academy. The point is why it's here. The reason this driver is bringing the barrels this way towards town is because the mayor has been allowing Viroanol, the faceless corporation that wants to buy the whole town kit and caboodle, to already store their waste material in the mines. They've been doing this for a while, before the sale was even close to being made.
Thought it was a slam dunk. Well, who knew Chris McCormick would suddenly get gold fever?
I'm trying my best here. Do you have any idea what the people of this town would do if they knew we were storing toxic waste without their consent?
Now look, I let you guys run tests, putting that stuff in the mines and running under my own property.
I'll be back late, maybe not till morning.
You owe me on this.
Going off to get wasted, have a wild orgy, and I might steal a car. You want one?
Brett, I'm on the phone. Go have some fun. I'll see you later.
Neither Wade nor the company, they don't care that any spillages could cause problems. They've just found a convenient dumping site that our warrant the EPA doesn't know about. We can assume that the reason for this happening is because disposing of it in disused mining tunnels would be a lot cheaper than safely and legally disposing of it. We don't even know if the money from this arrangement is lining Wade's pockets personally or if it's somehow being fed back into the town's budget. But we know from early on that Wade's business acumen is not good.
Why can't those of us that want to sell?
Now, Vironol wants all of our properties or none of our properties. Let's face it, the town's going broke and they're willing to pay us to relocate.
How do we know that this isn't just another one of your get-rich schemes, like, building this ridiculous mall out here?
Well, they scrapped plans to run a freeway through here, otherwise.
Or that stupid ostrich farm of yours.
It's good meat, it's healthy, Hey, everybody in this town is having some kind of financial problem. Sure, I want to get out from under this.
Why are they willing to pony up so much money? Just to get to the mines underneath our property?
They just want to put the empty mines to some use. It's perfectly safe.
And what pressures has Wade, as mayor, put on the mine to restrict access or support or to prevent people from possibly finding those stored barrels? The town doesn't know about this deal, and presumably they wouldn't be too thrilled to learn of it, especially seeing as Chris has dug the mine right into everyone's fucking houses. Viroanol doesn't care. But the fact we're not giving a face or even hearing the name mentioned all that much means that this could just as easily be this. Or this. It doesn't matter what corporation wants to store waste or buy the town to turn it into a mass disposal site, because it's not a story about this one company abusing its privileges being very wealthy in a poor part of the country. It's about the power balance wealthy companies as a concept wield in poor parts of the country. We see all the way through this film the legacy of the encroaching poverty on the town. The Bert and Ernie barbershop having to charge a pittance because no one's got the money to spend on a shave.
Of course, some people don't know a good deal when they see one.
Maybe I don't need a shave.
Hold still. I wouldn't want to cut you.
The town depends on the functioning of the gold mine, but with that not turning a profit, the entire town is struggling. There is no support. The people can't turn to any form of wider authority because the only lifeline dangling above their heads is Viroanol. An entire town is being ignored by wider government and it's being left to its own fate, and the only external force willing to interact with this economic problem in any way is a company that, for all it matters to the people, is just pretty much the authority, and they don't have good motivations. And so the spiders and eight-legged freaks are the metaphorical manifestations of the creeping and pervasive corporate greed that is consuming the town of Prosperity, Arizona. Spiders, by their nature, survive, in most cases, by adapting their environment to function as a trap for their victims, and there is a real case of subjectivity in the scale of that threat. To a person, a spider is an irrational fear. They are small and in most cases cannot hurt you. But as the spiders get bigger, they become something much more dangerous. A spider's web is a mild annoyance to a person, but once the spider gets too big, the web becomes inescapable. So too with debt. There are many people across the world for whom a casual 500 quid vet bill wouldn't touch the sides, but there are many people for whom that would cripple them financially. Been there, done that. The Prosperity Barbershop may well have been a thriving business once upon a time, and the debts faced by the poorest denizens of Prosperity would likely have seemed like spiderwebs, inconsequential by order of subjectivity. But as the mine falters and the entire town's economy gets worse, and the town gets poorer and poorer, and the economy gets weaker and weaker, and Prosperity Arizona gets sicker with the symptoms of corporate abuse of financial power, those debts, those spiderwebs start to get bigger and bigger until there is no one in town not susceptible to the rampage of the eight-legged freaks. It's also notable that if we assume that even the most bare-bones criminal investigation took place, not because I think a corporation illegally hiding toxic waste in a small town would actually rightly be prosecuted in the real world, but because back in 2002, the audience was more likely to believe that might happen. Then the destruction of the spiders leads to the removal of the roots of corporate greed that have burrowed their way into the town. There's also a dash of optimism to be found. As soon as the toxic reach of vironol is purged from prosperity, the mines reopen and the economy recovers. Which, granted, you could either read as once you reform the way companies are able to exert the power of populations by merit of their big fat money pockets, people will be able to make ends meet again, or the town, cough Wade, is being punished for its involvement with vironol, and as soon as that is rectified, things go back to being better. The way I choose to see it is that the town is split apart by the arguments over money. You can see there's a lot of tension between especially Chris and other people about his unwillingness to sell the mines, and all of that conflict, all of that tension builds to a point where the entire town is literally on a knife edge, not literally, metaphorically, literally on a spider's edge, if you will, where they see the actual threat looming before them, and at a point where the entire population of the town could split apart or they could come together, we see them all come together, and spiders as a metaphor for rampaging corporate greed. At the last possible moment, the entire town comes together, they work together, and they survive. For the most part, most of them pull through, and they manage to repel the problem, and they manage to make it through the end. Because community is the only way we're going to make it through this, people. So say hello to your neighbours and buy a couple of extra bags of oats and prepare for the spiders.
The itsy bitsy spider crawled up the waters.
I like this movie. It's about giant spiders. I should probably come up with an actual conclusion. Abolish corporations and stop teaching cats kung fu. I'm just not very good at it.
Itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. Itsy bitsy spider crawled in from the sun.